Good morning, I'm Phil. I'm just about awake. Cup of tea is definitely in order and in need at this time of the morning. If you, like me, have been tasked with getting up for a breakfast show for quite a while, it's quite a struggle when you've got to go into a radio station. It's actually less of a struggle in some respects when you do it from your living room, like I've had to do since last March. But yeah, it's still a little bit of a... I had a really good sleep last night. Usually I'm having all kinds of strange nightmares at the minute. The majority of them are about missing the show, like getting up too late, stupidly. But this is where I work from during the day, all the way through the day, in fact, whether it be on the radio or talking to you beautiful people as part of the PlayoutONE family. So I'm here at the moment. I'll do a little tour in a bit of what equipment I've got on this makeshift tabletop, which I have here. Best bargain in the world, this table, by the way. It was 60 quid off Amazon. It's a collapsible one, so you can put it in your car, which has been really handy these past 9 or 10 months. But yeah, so this is where I work from. Got PlayoutONE WebVT sat here on my main screen. I've not logged in yet, which I should do really, shouldn't I? Because otherwise it's going to be very quiet very soon. So I'm going to do that now. And basically the idea of the day today is just showing you around the system. I'm going to record the show as live. Actually, when I say record, it's live. But you're going to be able to see on this screen thing, on this video, exactly how the software works. We'll do some screen grabs of it. I'll show you around the mixer we've got, the microphone. And this is a bit exotic, every one of these, I know. But yeah, it's funny when you've got to go into a lockdown situation, you kind of find things from places. Oh, I know what that'll do. Do me some good. So this is where I am here. I'm going to log into WebVT. Many of you as WebVT users will probably know how to do all of this anyway, so I'm going to log in there. One of the main reasons why I want to show you this video today is basically because of LiveMIC. We've got a way of you broadcasting live down this web browser to your radio station. So, I mean, I've always found that WebVT has been incredibly good, very handy to be able to voice track down a web browser. But we've gone one stage further, and what we've actually done is found a way of you being able to broadcast live down the web browser, and that's what you're going to see as part of this little video today. I'm going to hopefully entertain.
Radio Newark Travel.
Got the latest on the road for you at what is nearly 7:20. Looks like we've had a very, very lively night last night. Lots of surface water to contend with. A46 from Cattle Market through to the A1 junction looking very busy today, as is the A17 coming off at the Know-How roundabout, so just be careful there on the approach. The Showground Island is also queuing on all approaches, and it's a bit slow on the A1 southbound near to Sutton-on-Trent this morning too. Anything else you spot, do let me know via social media, facebook.com/Radio Newark and Twitter, Radio Newark UK.
Radio Newark Travel.
And that's it. We've just done a link live on air.
Not so good at all today, actually. This storm will blow through all the way through the day. In fact, for a time this afternoon, we're expecting blustery conditions of 40 to 45 miles an hour.
For a full 5-day forecast for Newark and Lincolnshire, log on to radionewark.co.uk.
Good morning for Phil on Radio Newark Breakfast. Yes, it is a very blustery one, a very, very wet one as well across town. Just be careful. It's Thursday, the 21st of January, and I'm here till 10 o'clock this morning, getting you up as safely and as swiftly as possible. McFadden and Whitehead to kick us off today.
Waking up Newark and Lincolnshire, Radio Newark.
A bit of a dance, can't you? You know.
The wonderful Robbie Williams with You Know Me from Radio Newark Breakfast with Phil, live from the living room here on what will be a very stormy day today with Storm Christoph coming through. Please be careful. I'll give you a full update on the roads and rails in just a few minutes from now. Do you know it's National Hugging Day today? It is, and such a shame that we can't do it, really. We can't. But we can hug those that we are in a family environment with, living in the same house. But all those other people that we've not even seen for months and months and then really... we can't. So we're being urged to think about ways of virtually hugging them. And the wonderful thing about life at the minute is you can use your technology to send these little virtual hugs. But I don't think anything's going to replace the day that we're going to be able to do this once more. I did mention a few minutes ago that all the hard-working people from our town heading up to the showground again today should be commended. They should be, fully appreciated for the work they're doing with this COVID-19 vaccination program. They are utterly brilliant, so thank you very, very much. Speaking of working at home and kind of chilling out, as some of us are having to do at the minute, Jeremy Paxman, do you remember him from the Newsnight show years ago, Newsnight programme? He's my favourite. He's my favourite on Newsnight. It really was. He's in the news today. He says he loves lazing around in his undies all day, and he's still doing the University Challenge programme, of course, but it's a bit like, when you hear of all these other major celebs kind of doing next to nothing during the week in their underwear at home. It kind of puts you off your breakfast, really, doesn't it? I don't think there's anything massively wrong with, lounging. I mean, yesterday on the show, I didn't get dressed, did I? I mean, it was terrible, wasn't it? I had me shrimmies, my silk kimono on all the way through the show. But eventually, you do have to get up, don't you?
Waking up Newark and Lincolnshire. Radio Newark.
Radio Newark.
Okay, so now you've seen me have fun with this lovely piece of equipment. I want to show you just basically how you get it up on the screen and how you can see what's what. Now, what you're going to do first of all is, for those people that normally do know how to get into WebVT anyway, everything is exactly the same. So LiveMIC is a part of WebVT. There's nothing separate about it, all right? So I'm just going to log into my account on Radio Newark again. So here we go. I know what it is because it's a saved one. Very handy, this little tool. So I put my information in here and I hit login. And this is the screen you're going to be greeted with. When I say this, if you've been enabled by your station for on-air controls, they will know what that means. Then it means that you can see on the top of the screen there what's happening on air right now. So at the minute I'm playing Duran Duran, An Ordinary World, and I can see that, the actual progress of the song on the top of the bar. And this, of course, is very important if you're going to be doing live mic work, because you want to see what's happening on air, because otherwise you won't have a clue at this point in time. So when you come in and you have been enabled for the on-air controls by your system administrator, as they say in the world of IT, then you'll be able to see that. But the purpose of this video this morning is to talk about basically LiveMIC and where it is. So at the minute, you've noticed I've got into WebVT. I've given you a screen you've seen before, and you're wondering where LiveMIC is. Where the song is featured here, Ordinary World, Duran Duran, to the left of it, you'll see another microphone. And if you click on that, you get this. And this is the drop-down part, which actually is LiveMIC. Okay. So to the left here, I've got a monitor button section. What that means is I can hear what's coming back from the studio in real time. Okay. That will feed down the browser to my ears, so I can actually hear what's going on in the studio. And that is extremely important, because how else are you going to know when your song's going to end? Well, you'll see it on the screen from the progress bar, but you want to hear it, don't you? You want to hear it. So if I hit connect on here now, it's going to actually connect me to the radio studio's desk, in effect. So if let me just do it. So let's do that now. If I just push a couple of little buttons, so you should be able to hear them. I'm on a Rodecaster Pro, so I'm just going to turn on my turn off my mix minus so you can hear it. So click on. So there we go. So that's the feed coming back from the actual studio right now, right this minute. I'm going to turn it down. That's me personally. This is my own monitoring I can turn down there. So that's live streaming back to me. You'll also notice to the right of that button another one that says stream. You've got an option in LiveMIC to stream to all of your users your radio station's output, the output, so the processed audio output. Obviously with this, what's happening is when I click it in a second, you'll hear Radio Newark 20 seconds behind me, because obviously it's a shoutcast stream. So if I click that now, it's much louder. But that's the actual output of the radio station. So I can just check to make sure I'm on air. There we go. Click it back to studio again. And that's the live studio feed, which of course is flat because it's coming straight off the desk. Okay, so here we go with LiveMIC. We've got that bit sorted. We've clicked the big green button in the middle to connect this browser to the radio studio. And that's direct to your broadcast machine, okay? And we're going to go to the far right here, and there are two further buttons. One is called ducking, and one is called mic. Hopefully these are very self-explanatory. Ducking is a button that if I push it, it tells PlayoutONE in the studio to drop all of its faders by a certain amount of dB, right? And you can set that in your settings. I'll show you that in a sec. And the reason why that is, you're not in the studio, so you can't use your fingers to drop the playout faders to talk over, but that will do that. So when you click it, it virtually drops those faders for you. And lastly here, the microphone on off is just that. So if I click that off button there, it will send this mic I'm talking to you on right now straight down to the radio station's mixer. And that's how it works. So if I did that right now, what we were saying together will go straight out on Radio Newark right now. So I'm not going to do that, but that's where that is, okay? Let me just brush back to this ducking thing, and it's really important, okay? I'm going to go up to the left to the one launcher button, and I'm going to go to settings. Okay. Now, in here, I really want to show you this because it's really important. In the audio tab, you'll notice that live mic ducking is here. This is the setting that you put in place if you want to tell the system to duck for you. And if you want a harsh duck, you can drop this value down. If you want less of a harsh duck, you can leave it where it is. And it's set, I think, to -15 when you first set the system up. Okay, so that's in the settings in the audio tab. It's really important that you see that. Okay. And that's where you can see it. And again, you can change that yourself. It's not a case of the station dictating that. You can make that choice yourself. And finally, as part of LiveMic, what we've done is we've got our little heart button here. These are for the quick keys. So I'm just going to close this area here. Okay. And if I click those, we've got a representation of the quick keys that you've got in the studio. So if I go and let's get a better page than that, because there's not a lot on there. News and sport, maybe. That's not much good, is it? Where we go? That's Matt and Vicky's page. There's also something on there. Let's just turn me off because I'm hearing myself now. That's really weird. So if I was on air now from my remote location, I could fire quick keys in the studio from here. So I could open them, and if I clicked any one of these carts, these quick, I still call them carts, quick keys, that would send a command to the on-air studio to fire that quick key. So if you're doing live mic work and you've got beds and things, you can still put your beds together in the system and then fire them like you would in the studio. So that's why we've done that. The quick key section is available on WebVT's live mic to fire things off remotely. And that's what that is there. So hopefully with live mic, there's nothing too much to add to what you've seen before. You've seen the log before. You know, you've seen how WebVT works before. You've seen, if you've got on-air controls, this little progress bar. We just tidied it up a little bit since the last version. And the live mic element is literally just this little bit here. So for presenters that are a little bit frightened of technology, having this means really it's just an added few buttons. And the buttons that we've put in place here hopefully make sense. You know, mic on, off, ducking on, off, monitor, studio. Do you want to hear what's happening in the studio ahead of you talking? And then the most important button of all on here is this big connected button here. So they click that to get themselves on air. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, well, what happens if I've got a presenter on air before them and they try to take control at the wrong time? It will ask them. So if, say, for example, this breakfast show I do finishes at 10 o'clock and then we have Tony Roberts that's on at 10 after me. I'm connected till 10 o'clock. If Tony tries to connect before 10 o'clock, it will warn him. It will say to him, you know, Phil is connected. Are you sure you wish to disconnect him? So at that point, you've got it on the screen to say, hang on a minute, mate, you've got this wrong. Because at 10 o'clock, what I do when the news is on is I disconnect. And then when Tony connects, it will just connect him in. So there is a little feature in the system to warn the user that's coming on next that someone else is already there. So don't worry about that. Now, of course, with that in mind, the most important thing at the end of your show is to do that and turn yourself off. That's a very brief overview of what live mic is. And the reason why it's so brief, we hope, is that it is brief. It's just a very simple way of getting your air talent, your presenters on the radio through WebVT in effect with a live mic add-on. And any questions, of course, feel free to email them across to support@playoutone.com. Oh, and just one final thought, and this is a very important one. As everything else in this business, in the PlayoutONE business, this is no extra cost. It has no extra cost to you. If you're a PlayoutONE Pro station, this will just appear. There we go. And hopefully you'll enjoy it and it'll be very useful for you. Thank you for watching.